Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. The Boy Wonder's back for his 137th show. Lee Van Hirschkorn, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yep, all good, all good. So congratulations, you're a father again. You're not getting much sleep, but you look like chirpy and upbeat. So how was if you don't mind saying, I know we're on a public
Yes.
podcast. How was the process? It's nothing quite like being a father, is there?
Yeah, no, I mean it's amazing. So I have I have a teenager girl. I have an 8-year-old girl, and this was first boy. So very very exciting. And yeah, I totally did not remember what it's like to change diapers. It's been 8 years,
Mm.
or do any of that, but it's been very very exciting and very blessed. Also, my wife and I, the backstory is that we've been trying to have another child for 5 years and went through 5 IVF cycles. All of them failed. Had a miscarriage in 2019, and then this happened naturally. So we feel very 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 grateful, and we're very excited.
Excellent. Excellent. So, congratulations to your family. So, today we're going to talk about some influencer stuff that you've been doing. Do you want to set the scene for us?
Yeah. So obviously we know Amazon is getting more challenging, not less challenging. We've seen, advertising cost per click. Everybody knows advertising cost per click has increased, from 2020, just pretty continuously, 30-40% from 2020 to where we are now. And that Amazon, likes external traffic. And so one of the things we've been thinking about is, what are the best ways to drive some of that external traffic. We're also experimenting with Google, ads into Amazon as well. But what I like about influencer marketing is, my Google ad doesn't have the ability to go viral and sell, 500 units or 1,000 units or more. And influencer marketing can be done pretty cost effectively, and you can develop relationships with those influencers that not are not just going to be that one time they promote the brand, but they could promote the brand multiple times. So we've been working on driving internal driving traffic to Amazon, but our goal has not just been um, just to get ranking and you know um, just to get the traffic. Our goal is also to actually get sales as a result. So I could talk a little bit about some of the tools that we're using, and what we're doing to drive that traffic, and then build relationships with influencers that we can use over and over again, if we have good success with them, and how we're also incentivizing them.
Yeah.
So we started off using um, a couple tools. One of those tools is called Hipsy. It's Heepsy, and I think it's like $50 a month, and you could do influencer searches there. You could do it by keyword. You could do it by you could put, let's say, lifestyle if you're looking for lifestyle influencers, or you could do it by the word beauty, etc., and help you find influencers in that niche. It gives you some data also on their demographics, so you can understand where their audience is, right? If you're selling in the US and 70% of their audience is in Europe, right, may not be a good fit, etc. The good thing about that platform too is that you can filter for influencers that have like an email on their profile. So that's what we do, and then we can kind of move the conversation into email, and reach out to them via email. We then take we use a program, we use something called Mixmax to automate some messaging to them. So we send out a series of up to 3 emails. Like if we don't hear back from them, we let them know that we're running a campaign. We have a deadline to be able to join this campaign, and if they're interested, and then we send a couple follow-up emails if they don't respond, like, hey, there's 48 hours left if you're interested, and then there's 24 hours left, let us know if you're interested. And then we negotiate basically rates with them. We try to get them to use Amazon attribution. If they don't, they'll use an affiliate, but we try to get them to use an Amazon attribution link, because you also have the brand referral bonus that you can take advantage of and get around 10% of that money back. One of the things that we've used as well is Upfluence. So Upfluence is a paid service, but Upfluence has a free Chrome extension, and what you can do with that is you can use the Chrome extension when you're on their, let's say, Instagram profile, TikTok, or their profile, and Upfluence gives you what percentage of their audience. Upfluence gives you what percentage of their followers are like real followers versus so it might say like 97%, etc. So it gives you some more data there. And again, we use that data and their demographics also to try to back into what the value of that influencer may be. So we developed like a spreadsheet. It's something I could maybe share the specifics with you after if you want to share.
We can add the link to the show notes if you want.
Show notes. Yeah. We developed a spreadsheet that basically says like, what is the value of this influencer? So for example, let's say somebody has 100,000 followers. So Upfluence will say, okay, 97% are real. So now we know, okay, 97,000 followers, right? Now, let's say 60% are in the US. So our market's in the US. So now from that 100,000, let's forget about the 97 numbers. So the math is easy. From that 100,000, 60% in the US, now we have 60,000 followers that are in our target. Now, maybe our target is women and 60% of their audience is women. So now we take that, right? And it's at a certain age range, right? Like, 25 to 34. So we kind of narrowed down, if somebody has, 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, what is the actual audience that fits within our market that's valuable for us? And so we might, from 100,000, we might end up getting to 40,000, of their audience. And then from there, we take some assumptions based on data, right? How many of those may actually see the post? Maybe it's half, 20,000. And then how many may actually, swipe up or click the link or something, right, to go. So that's maybe 5%. And then out of those, how many will convert, which is maybe, 2.5% or something, right? So we understand that from that 100,000, we try to back into what are the potential sales that we may get, how many are actually in the audience, and based on the average order value and how many will actually go and convert, what is the actual potential sales that we might get from that posting. And based on that, we kind of come up with generally the rates that we might want to pay. And that's something, I could share with you. So we're using a combination of these tools, Hipsy, Mixmax, Upfluence to reach out to influencers. So platform wise, we've been focused a lot on TikTok. One thing to know about TikTok is 70% or so of the users are 18 to 25. With Instagram, I think 70% of the users are 25 to 34. So it's a little bit of an older audience on Instagram versus TikTok. So good to know. And the benefit of TikTok is obviously the videos kind of stay there. Most of the time on Instagram, the influencers generally just want to do stories. So our approach to Instagram is to do kind of longer deals with somebody, which is typically more money. But on Instagram, we generally like to do a month sort of deal and have a story every week, and have that story not just be one story, but be like 45 seconds, right? Where there's like the product may be shown in 2-3 stories, and they're doing that weekly over a month so that more of the audience can see it, because the post is not staying live versus TikTok. We've seen some good success, with influencers, that were paying $0 to $200-$300. We've had some videos on TikTok, generate 50,000 plus views with $200-$300 in terms of spend. So it could be very cost effective. We've seen spikes in BSR on Amazon as a result. Sometimes it's not super easy to track, because people might just go search the product and they don't click the link in the bio on TikTok, and you don't have that attribution, all the data. But we we see the spike in in Seller Central, as well as ranking benefits that we're getting from it. And one of the next steps that we're going to take, we've started to use a tool called Incense. It's a little bit more expensive, I think $400 plus a month. That allows us to also now whitelist those influencers to run ads against their profile. So you basically can get whitelisted for a period of time, I think like 30 days, or there's a certain period of time, I think it might be a negotiation with the influencers to run ads against their profile. So I follow lately, like since the beginning of the year, I've been seeing a ton of ads for like Athletic Greens, for example. Many people know the brand, and all the ads I see on Instagram generally are from the influencer profile, right? And I think if you're going to see an ad, you trust it more, or you're more likely to watch it when it comes from Joe Schmo, whatever, than from Athletic Greens, right, on their profile. And so the next step,
their brand change. It's AG1 now, isn't it? Athletic
yes,
Greens. That's the moment. Yeah,
AG1, correct.
Yeah.
So I've seen a ton of ads, but they're running all from for the actual influencer account, and the brand is paying for it, but it comes through. They get whitelisted and they get permission to run it through the influencer account. And that's the next thing that we're going to be testing, is running ads directly through those influencer account. That tool allows us to do that more easily. And so that's the next step we're going to take to drive ads from it. The other thing we've done is we sometimes find influencers that are so low in terms of pricing, the $50 or something, right? And they actually have audiences and things on TikTok, and we'll give them additional incentive because they're so low that we'll give them additional incentive of all the sales, either through this coupon code or through the attribution link. We're going to give you 10% of the sales back, because again, we're paying them so little to begin with that if they drive $5,000 in sales, it's going to be $500, right? It's still going to be like well worth it to pay them a percentage. And then also we're amassing, sort of as we do this more and more, a good database of influencers that we have success with, influencers that may not be as successful, and we're starting to kind of amass this good database of influencers that have audiences in different categories that we then can use again and again. And because we can use them multiple times, we're also able to negotiate better rates, because they know it's not just a one-time thing. And what I'd recommend, if you're doing this yourself, is to move ultimately like influencers that they follow your instructions, they're easy to work with, they're not expensive, or maybe they are expensive but they drive a lot of sales, to ultimately move once you do their first campaign with them. If you think they're worth working with again, is ultimately to kind of move them into like an ambassador, and then develop something with them more long-term, more commission based, that because the most I follow Jen Seltzer. She's a big influencer, 12 million followers or something on Instagram. She's a fitness influencer. The way I started following her originally is I met her agent on Clubhouse, and he was talking about how he's been helping her get brand deals, etc. And I started following her on Instagram, and I see like almost every day, she's doing her morning routine, and she makes a smoothie, and she uses BlendJet, right? And it's like BlendJet is incorporated into her life every day. She makes her smoothie and she shows BlendJet, right? And obviously she's got some kind of long-term deal from BlendJet, to just incentivize her to incorporate BlendJet as part of her life. And I think that's ultimately where you want to get to with influencers, move them to a brand ambassador program, have a longer term relationship with them. And if successful, then the product becomes more part of their organic, posts versus just like a commercial, right? And then it's, I think, much more influential, right? If I wear let's say I wear this hat, right? I'm just wearing consistently, and let's say this is a hat by another company, right? And I wear it consistently in my stuff, right? Then I don't need to promote or talk about the hat. You just see it, right? It's kind of that same, that same concept. So that's kind of where we're moving to, is working first with an influencer, then trying to get them want to build long-term relationships with them. And again, we want to start driving what we haven't done yet, driving ad traffic from their profiles directly into Amazon, and seeing if we can get success with that as Amazon advertising clicks go up, right? Especially in certain niches, right? Like you can go into pet supplements and pay $3 to $10 a click, right? Well, it may be a lot cheaper. Your conversions may not be as good, but it may be a lot cheaper to drive that traffic from outside, if successful, with paying an influencer a commission versus spending $10 a click on Amazon. So I think you're going to see that more and more. I think the theme that I'm seeing for 2022 in general from sellers is I would call it a back to basics theme, where you really need to focus on your listings, on your creative. I even heard the same thing from somebody who does D2C commerce on Shopify, right? Like iOS changes made a lot of things go wrong, even things like countdown timers on landing pages, because of the ability to kind of track users and retarget them. The countdown timers stop working, right? And instead of now using sort of like tactics like that, those brands and sellers have to focus more on just better creative in their ads in the first place. And so kind of the theme I see in general this year is back to basics, really focusing on the listings and the basics of marketing as opposed to the hacks of marketing.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things, if you can find it in order to scale it, is having that consistency. Obviously, with PPC, though expensive, there is cyclic. So you're running ads, they either click on them or they don't click on them, or
Right.
You're not in the ad placement algorithm, or you are. There's some variables there, of course, but there's a consistency, and it's finding a way. Can you do this with influencers? Because you're going to work through their audience, depending on the size of them. Like you said, you do a month campaign. If you go back in 6 months, they've still got that same audience plus more, but how much more? And then how do you target those to not receive the diminishing returns? Do you see what I mean? And it's trying to find out, if anyone can nail that, I think that's the one, isn't it? Where you can get that consistency.
Yeah, and I think on the D2C side, a lot of brands have nailed it, but it hasn't been a huge focus, I think, for Amazon sellers, because I agree, ranking organically using in the past rebates and running ads and getting a 20% ACoS, it's kind of easy compared to trying to figure out influencer marketing. But again, I think the more control you have, the more channels you have to grow your brand, I think the better. And I do think we're seeing more sellers focus on building brands in the last year or two than just random private label products and getting that benefit. And it's amazing sometimes when I see a brand that is already on D2C, they've built up a following, and then they come into Amazon and they could just dominate with very little ad spend, because they already have so many branded searches as a result of all the efforts they've done already on building that brand, and people could just come to Amazon to search for it, even though they've never driven traffic towards Amazon, and they just have massive success. We helped the brand launch a product. They had 100,000 plus followers on Instagram. They came to Amazon the first month. They spent $2,000 on ads and sold $100,000 of a single product, because they already had so many searches on Amazon. Just became so easy. It wasn't anything magical we did. It was everything they did, everything they did beforehand to build a brand. And so I think you're going to see, I think Amazon sellers and brands will have to focus more, especially again, as Amazon, they took away rebates. They're forcing you to spend more on ads, which means your listings, your creative, just everything needs to be better, including testing creative, testing. One of the things, I went to a Thrasio event in Cabo last month, and one of the biggest takeaways that for me from that was Thrasio was saying that, like, when they buy brands, they see kind of gold in the listings that the sellers don't see. And one of the things Casey, VP of SEO at Thrasio, recently told me was recently they went through their top 50 best-selling products across Thrasio. These are products already selling, probably $1 million plus a month, right? Their top 50. And they went in and just retested, even though they did this in the past, retested, AB on a main image, for example, right? Like just going better and getting more sales, even out of those products that are already best-selling products, doing retesting. They showed at that event one image that they had that was like a dog pet hair remover, and they made the main image, and it's basically like there's a dog and a cat like shocked like this, in the main image looking at the product, and like that turned out to like just produce a lot more sales. And you wouldn't think that image would do it, but it like captures attention and worked. And I wouldn't think naturally that would be the winning image. And so I really think the theme for sellers and brands this year should be, back to basics and improving listings, testing creative, using tools like PickFu and other ones that are popping up out there that allow you to do kind of testing on really improving your creative and your SEO.
Yeah.
Along with testing, again, marketing initiatives that are actually marketing initiatives, not rebates is not a real marketing, right? It's like it's a tactic that helped organic, and if there are tactics like that, use them, but those things typically only last a certain amount of time with Amazon. And rebates probably still work, right? It's just more risky now because Amazon has kind of explicitly said that you shouldn't do it. So you want to move to things ultimately, I think, that are really will build your brand.
Yeah, agreed. Should we summarize some of these parts in? So let's quickly go through the tools again. At the top of the show, you mentioned 3 tools, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Hipsy, HEEPSY. Again, you can filter there for emails, for finding influencers that have emails. So that's a great way to reach out to them. Pretty inexpensive. I think $50 a month. Mixmax allows you to automate emails and send like sequences of emails. We use that. New tool that we just got called Insense. I think it's INSENSE. A little bit more expensive. Could do a little bit more with it, including whitelisting ads against influencers pretty easily. So we're very excited about that, because my vision for this when we started was I want to do influencer marketing, but eventually I want to run ads from TikTok and from these places into Amazon, because you just hear about TikTok being such a great channel to drive e-commerce sales, and that's kind of where I want to go with it. So we're doing that. Also, Upfluence, free extension from Upfluence allows you to run 20 free searches a day on the Chrome extensions against the influencers, and show you some data on those influencers' demographics and if their followers are real, etc. And again, we developed this spreadsheet that I'll share maybe like a kind of a screenshot, or I'll share with you on kind of like the formula of trying to figure out what the value is on influencers. I can also share with you kind of like generally what we pay depending on how many followers they have. We always negotiate. If an influencer says their rate is 300, we might come back and say, look, our budget for this campaign is 200. Or we always negotiate the rate. There's always room. They'll usually still take it. And then one of the things we're also have started to test is mega influencers. So going the other way, somebody with 1 million followers and $5,000, for example, for a project. So and again, with those, we'll do like a month project, Instagram, weekly stories, so that we could show up more, again, because stories disappear. Next, we're going to YouTube and running ads. running ads, into Amazon. So this is kind of one area we're focused on with influencer marketing efforts and some use cases. Just in general, we have a client that we're running it for right now, a customer that Amazon recently said they can't run ads against their ASIN anymore. I think it has to do with like smoking or something. Like I think it's a tool for like smoking marijuana or something like that. And they can't run ads on Amazon, right? So they need to find other means. Obviously, there's categories, sexual wellness, right? There's a bunch of other categories on Amazon where you can't run ads and you need to go other ways. That's easy, sort of like obviously easy use case of where you want to figure out how you can drive, outside traffic, but other areas are just driving external traffic and then developing a relationship with the influencers. One case we had was we ran a campaign for one of our clients, buys wholesale from a major big brand from Unilever, and it was a shampoo product. And we promoted the product. We initially got a lot of reviews. We felt like we got kind of like a spike, a lot of views. Felt like we got a spike in BSR. But then the comments started coming in on the product, and people and women were commenting like, "Oh, that, this thing, you start to lose your hair when you use this product." And did you know they have currently a lawsuit right now against them for like some things about this product and whatever, etc. And obviously, it's one of the, this was a major brand, so people kind of knew the product. But obviously, one of the downsides to this is, those things obviously can influence whether people buy or don't buy, the product. So you also want to recommend a good product. In general, the product had 4 stars on Amazon, but it just got, a bunch of negative comments against that influencer's post.
Yeah.
And that is sort of one of the, say dangers or downsides to doing this. Like if the product
can go viral the wrong way. Yeah.
Can go viral.
You're doing reputation management after. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Have we covered everything before we go? Is that covered?
Yes, we've covered everything before we go. Last thing, I want to touch on one thing that's coming to PPC.
That's right. Yeah.
Last thing, intraday API coming to PPC. What that means is that you'll be able. Day parting has been in existence. You could do day parting with a lot of different software tools, or obviously manually, and you could say, hey, between I don't want to run ads between 10 to 12 p.m., 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The reason why you may not want to do that is because either you're limited on budget and you want to make sure you have budget for the evening, or you don't want to run ads, on a Saturday because it's your slowest day and you're pausing during Saturday and you're just, not running during that time. What's coming though, but it's never been validated through data, because the Amazon API historically has been giving couple times a day, giving you the data on the traffic, but not specifically telling you, because essentially right now what you see is like, you'll see your cost per click is $1.62. The reality is it's not really $1.62. Some clicks you're paying $1.75, some clicks you're paying $1.30, and that's your average cost per click, right? What's coming is Amazon's actually going to give you on an hourly basis, what is your cost per click? What is your ACoS? What are your conversions on every metric, for every metric possible, on a keyword level, on a placement level, for everything through the intraday API. And I believe it'll be a first mover's advantage to get access to that. And so that's something you should watch out for. That's coming from Amazon soon. And I think will be a benefit to, to be able to implement. And then you'll really be able to make intelligent decisions on saying, hey, between 3 to 5 p.m. we're seeing our cost per click is higher. There's more competition for ads, and our ACoS is higher as a result. We want to actually lower our budget during that time, and we want to get more aggressive between 7 to 9, where we see a better ACoS and a lower cost per click, for example. And that's pretty cool. Amazon seems to be giving you more and more data, more and more ability to to get data and be able to take action on it. And so we're pretty excited about that. We're about to beta with 5 or 6 clients on it. And I think you'll hear more of this as the year comes, probably second and third quarter, about more. I'm sure you'll get access to that API. More people will get access to that API, and implementing it, I think, will be the same as, if you implemented video ads early, because when your competition is not implementing it right away, it'll be a first mover advantage. A year from now, probably everybody or a lot of more sophisticated sellers will be implementing, sort of taking advantage of that. And now it'll be, if you're not using it, you're left behind, as opposed to if you are using this in the second or third quarter this year, you're going to be at the forefront of taking advantage of, again, better optimizing your ads. So something to kind of look out for as it relates to Amazon PPC. Excellent.
Best way for people to reach you?
Incrementumdigital.com is the website. Obviously, I'm DM on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. I'm on all the platforms. And if you're at Prosper, then would love to see you there. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Danny. Prosper. The reason I'm going to Prosper is so I can get some sleep.
What, in the hotel rooms, but they pump with oxygen?
Yeah, exactly. Because I just had a baby, so I'm going to Vegas to sleep. Most people go to Vegas not to sleep. I'm going to Vegas to sleep.
Yeah.
So
excellent. We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you. Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love, and I'll be back here again tomorrow. Take care.